Kendrick Perkins. Having said that, it's not just AD that has an issue staying healthy recently. Let's take the bubble out of this for a second, okay? Because no one played 82 games. LeBron played 56 games last year. He played 45 the year before. And then when they weren't even on the same team going back 4 years, AD got into 56, LeBron got into 55. Other than the bubble season, LeBron hasn't even played 60 games. Isn't that more than anything what we're talking about here? LeBron and AD haven't been on the floor.
Max, I get all that, but guess what? They had time this offseason to recover. And we're watching a LeBron James that's motivated. We're watching a LeBron James that just played in the Drew League in the middle of July, right? A guy that's entering year 20. And I get what you're saying, Max, and I know these guys realize this. Anthony Davis been waking up every morning at 4 in the morning, getting into the gym, going 3-a-days, working on his body. He looks in phenomenal shape. I have 2 words for you right now. Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham. And we saw this year in the finals, Steve Kerr and Ime Udoka, 2 former players that were coaching in the NBA Finals. For some reason, players react better when they're getting a message from former players that are sitting in those head coaching spots.
Perk, once upon a time, not that long ago, LeBron James was the undisputed best player in basketball. There was no argument you could make for someone else for a lot of years. Now he is no longer that. There are people who will argue Giannis, there are people who argue KD, but Perk, can't you also argue LeBron? Like, I'm not saying he is undisputed the best player anymore, but I don't think you can argue he's not. Like, isn't there a chance he still is the best player in the world if he can stay on the floor?
Absolutely, Max. And look, this man averaged 30 last season. Not 30, 30. He averaged 30. The game has come easy to him. He's added more to his game. His three-point shot is more consistent. It's still no stopping him. His athleticism for him attacking the basket and getting to the rim and snatching the screws out is there. He still gets out in transition like the LeBron James of old in the Cavs days and the Miami Heat days. So, no, it's not unfair to put him in that conversation. Right now, LeBron James is a top 5 player in the NBA.
Yeah, but and more than top 5, Perk, to me, it's like, you're right, it's not unfair to put him in the conversation. The difference really is there used to not be a conversation, and now there is, but he is in that conversation. How much pressure, therefore? Go ahead, Perk.
Well, Max, it's about damn time. He's been holding the throne for almost 2 decades now.
Ridiculous.
It's about time somebody, right. It's about time somebody finally come compete to take the chair away from him.
You're right, and I guess that guy is Giannis at the moment. Perk, how much pressure, therefore, if we acknowledge how great LeBron still is on AD to really be the co-star along with LeBron this season? Those two are the best duo in basketball, right? How hard could it be for them to, if they stay healthy, really compete here?
It won't be hard, and all the pressure is on Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, out of LeBron James, and if you want to include Russell Westbrook, is in the middle and peak of his prime. I believe Anthony Davis turning 30 this season, right? He should be right at the level of Giannis Antetokounmpo. We already know that Anthony Davis is a top 5 talent in the league. Think about this for a second, Max. About 2 years ago, we actually were having a debate about who was better, Anthony Davis or Giannis Antetokounmpo. Who would you take? Now, all of a sudden, you're not even putting Anthony Davis in that conversation, which he should. When you talk about a guy
Perk.
that could
Wait a minute, I'll give you another one.
Who is?
Jokic just won MVP back-to-back, right? Jokic is amazing and everything. When AD and Jokic linked up in the playoffs with the money on the line, it was not close. AD was a much better player. You would have much rather had AD than Jokic. And I know Jokic has improved even since then, but that much? Like if AD is on the floor and healthy, he fits in with Jokic and Embiid and Giannis and any of the 6'11 plus guys in the league.
He do, but let me say this, Max. It's also going to come down to when is LeBron James going to actually pass the torch to Anthony Davis and say, you know what, here, we're going to run everything through you. We're going to do it on a consistent basis. They did it the year that they actually won the championship, and it worked. So it's on Darvin Ham to emphasize and overemphasize, hey, AD, this is your team now. And you need the support of LeBron James to back him up on that and give AD that confidence and make sure that he goes in and night out knowing that he's the head of the snake.
Perk, I hear you, and maybe that would have already happened if the dude stayed on the floor. I'm not blaming him. His body is his body. I mean, some guys break down easier than others,
right.
But I don't know how LeBron does that for a guy who's, because of his injury history, you can't rely on to be there. How do you give him the keys?
Well, I mean, he did it before and it worked. I mean, you give him the keys by watching how he approached practice. You give him the keys by AD showing them that he's going to be committed to the weight room. You give him the keys by AD punching in the clock outside of games and showing LeBron James that he's actually ready to be the leader of the team. Right? We never questioned Anthony Davis' talent, but he's going to have to show LeBron that he's ready to be the leader.
Right.
And when I say take a back seat, I'm not asking LeBron to go out there and just average 20 points. I'm just saying let AD average 27 to 28. LeBron, you average a cool, casual 25, and the Lakers will be in great shape.
The problem with LeBron is he's too good. We've been saying this with different teams with LeBron for years, but in the end, he's too good. He can't help it. His mentality is to take a back seat. He just can't help himself because his basketball understanding is, well, we got to do this through me. It gives us our best shot. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.